We are back. I say we. I'm back. Everyone has bailed, and perhaps not a surprise given the game we're about to discuss. But joining me to cover for all the flaky lads is our returning guests, Aidan and James. Aidan, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Your
less frozen,
really weird on my headset there. Yeah, froze there, I think.
Amazing.
What a start.
Maybe
What
it was bad.
Brilliant start.
Phenomenal interwebs all round. Start again. Aidan, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good, thank you, Pat. How have you been?
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm good. Apart from having the worst internet at Stevenage, I'm all right. James,
I'm all right.
Avalanche jersey on the back of the chair?
Yeah. President's Trophy winners, thank you very much.
There we go.
We'll go out in the first round of the Stanley
We'll get
Cup.
onto that. Can't win them all. I'm a Red Wings fan. Less said about hockey, the better. We'll move on.
Yeah.
All right. I mentioned it in the intro. I'm making the executive decision to cover last night's game first because God knows I want to get it out of the way. Stevenage travelled to Bolton, lined up, Marshall in goal, Sweeney, Pidge and Good, 3 centre-backs, Patterson, Jordan Roberts. Sort of wing-backs? I mean, who knows? Thompson and White in midfield, Louis Thompson that is, Dan Phillips ahead of them for a small period of the game. We'll get onto that. Dan Kemp, Jamie Reid leading the line. Matt Phillips rested. It was a tough one. We've been waiting for the Jordan Roberts at left wing back to bite us in the arse because he's not a natural defender. You don't really want him as your most defensive wide player. And perhaps unsurprisingly, given how good Bolton are out wide, this was the game where it bit us. And it was a bold way to set up, I thought, away from home against a side above you in the league. And we found ourselves 2-0 down pretty early on. And perhaps that wasn't a surprise. Yeah, on the half-hour mark, the second one went in. So thoughts on that first half hour from you both? Start with James, shall we?
Yeah. I think with Boro, the way we play, as soon as the first goal goes in, you're kind of like, right, we're up against it now. Best I was hoping for at that point was a draw. The second one goes in, write it off, free hit, do whatever. And then as soon as the sending off happened, you have to fear the worst. We set up. I don't know about with Sweeney in instead of help me out. Got his name. Freestone, yeah. Freestone was a big miss. And Sweeney doesn't give you the same quality that Freestone does. So we knew he'd be a big miss anyway. Sweeney at the back, you already know that you're in trouble. And going a goal down so early on, I don't know. I pretty much wrote the game off then. But I would say I'm not asked. Really don't care because what's it done to us? Really, the whole thing. I would have taken a 1-0 loss at the kickoff. We've damaged our goal difference a bit. The Dan Phillips thing, which I'm sure we'll come on to, is probably the biggest loss of the night for me.
Yeah. Aidan, what are your thoughts on the game?
I thought the tactical setup, I could understand sticking with the back five. You know, it worked at Bradford. I could understand Ravel's logic in terms of sticking with that. But I think the fact that our wing backs, if you can call it that, were really high up the pitch, it left our outside centre backs really isolated against Cozier, Dubry and Gale. And, you know, you saw from the second goal, Charlie Good, I think it is, that jumps too early. It leaves Patterson one-on-one with Gale. And then, you know, we're split open at that point. And I think it's Johnny Kenny who got the second goal there, number 9. He, you know, he had pretty much the freedom of Bolton to slot it into the back of the net because one of the centre backs had jumped. And I think that was a bit of a problem all night long, really, in terms of committing too much to trying to jump on their front line. And, you know, when you do that with the quality that Bolton have with players like Sheehan and Cozier Dubry, you're just asking for trouble, really.
Yeah, their movement was really good, and our ability to cover either the movement they were making or the space that they were moving into was pretty poor. I thought, looking back at the highlights of their goals, Louis Thompson had a bit of a mare. There was the one down the right hand side, which the commentators were giving Sweeney grief for, but the right back got beaten, so he sort of had to go out there.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I could see looking back on that was kind of barged their 10 in the chest, but that just left 9 to run right into the middle, completely free. And that's the area that your central, which was Pidge in that formation, should have been taken up. So, everyone shuffled
Charlie
across.
Good was left with 2, wasn't he?
Just place to leave a gap. Yeah, and that happened over and over again. It was the same story on their 5th when the keeper spilled it, and who was there to snap up the rebound? It was Good trying to battle 2 of theirs while everyone else was 5 yards further up. So it was a tough one. Dan Phillips sending off. I don't know. I thought a little bit harsh on first view, but it is also completely unnecessary and right in front of the referee. So you run the risk then, right? He's tripped him a little bit whilst pushing him in the back. The guy's gone down, pushed in the back of the head.
He was all over Phillips, wasn't he? And then Phillips has
there was
reacted.
a couple of barges before that, and Phillips has reacted to it. And it's not like he took a big swing at him with a leg or an arm, but it was unnecessary off the ball, and the refs taken no nonsense. And Revs wasn't really defending him in the press conference afterwards, so it was a 3-match ban. You could see on the highlights Pidge going up to him and giving him a mouthful. So, I think people
it was
think
pretty daft.
He's let the side down a little bit there.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, even if we did appeal it, I really doubt it gets overturned.
Yeah, no real extenuating circumstances there from the commentary I listened to and the highlights that we saw. So that set the tone pretty badly. They got in at half time, 2-0 down. Or did they? It was the 49-minute goal in extra time. It was probably an extra time. But went 3-0 down. Cozy Dubry again, it was a nightmare all night to deal with. Kemp pulled one back really nicely. And at that point, you're like, well, we've won all. We've got a man less. See this out. That's kind of going home with a little bit of I don't know,
maybe some bit of pride.
That's the word. Yeah. Self-respect. That's the word I was looking for. Imagine not being able to find self-respect. That's not really.
Well, it's pretty fitting for yesterday's performance, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then they shipped another couple. Rodriguez scored on 70. Burstow scored on 81. They just looked a bit kind of tired and shoulders dropped at that point, and you can understand that. It's tough. Big 5-1 win that they now need to bounce back from. And who worse to have to bounce back against than top of the league Lincoln at home? It's going to be an interesting one. Any final thoughts on the Bolton hammering?
The funny thing is, we actually had a couple of really good chances just before. I think Bolton got there. I think it's the second and third goals. For the second goal, just before then, Kemp has the header that goes wide, which I think it's a bit more of a difficult chance than we think it is. He's having to lean back and get it back across the keeper. And then just before the third goal, Jamie Reid forces a save from Bonham and Harvey White skies the rebound over. And then, a bit later, they go down the other end and make it 3-0. It was just one
White
of those
had
nights,
an
really,
earlier shot as well, didn't he? That just faded wide as well. From distance. I think this is just part of the master plan. Make them all feel all warm and comfortable, and we're an easy beat. And then when we get them in the playoffs, we'll beat them.
40 chips, I like it.
It's the old rope-a-dope.
1-0, one shot on target, 95th minute.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No shots on target. Let's go back to old school Boro.
You're right to raise that, because it's been the story of our losses away from home this year is that we've squandered good chances and been made to pay for it. And boy, were they made to pay for it last night. 5-1. I think flatters them a bit, maybe, but I don't know. You look at 10 shots, 3 on target versus 24-9 on target. Perhaps it doesn't flatter them at all. Nearly 70% possession. That's what you'd expect.
They're a good
10,
side. They're a good side, and the writing was on the wall after the first half. We could have gone for damage limitation, but I kind of don't mind the fact that we still tried to be in the game in the second half. It's kind of a free hit. So two damaging bits about it are the goal difference has taken a beating, and we've lost Dan Phillips for 3 games. We'll just move on from it. I think the commentary was pretty good. Go on, sorry, mate.
For the tactical change after Phillips was sent off, because he's not had much game time, and he was obviously pissed off when he came off, and then Patterson coming on late on and absolute hiding to nothing when they're already 5-1 down. It's like, yeah, thanks. You're going to get 5 minutes.
Go win us the game.
Yeah, tough for both of them. Wouldn't want to be sitting next to Sweeney on the bus back either. Good God.
No.
All right, so that was the Bolton game. Less said about it, the better. Moving on to something more cheerful. Bradford 0, Stevenage 1 on Saturday. Obviously, Marshall in goal. It's a league game. He's been doing that all season. Good Piergiani and Freestone, the back 3. Patton and Jordan Roberts, nominally wing backs. Dan Phillips, Harvey White. Deeper line midfield 2. Kemp ahead of them. Matt Phillips and Reed as your forwards. Freestone got injured pretty early. 10 minutes, was replaced by Sweeney. It felt like a relatively quiet first half from reading the match report. Dan Kemp scored a nice goal that fell to him from a long throw. 2 players jumped for it, both missed it, hit a guy in the shins, fell to Kemp, who lashed it home. And then Stevenage defensively saw out the rest of the game, and it took like 4 really good saves from Marshall to keep us a 1-0 win, but such a vital 1-0 win. Give us your thoughts on this one, Aidan.
Just felt like a typical Stevenage 1-0 win, really. Yeah, we get one chance, we take it, and I think nowadays, when we go 1-0 up, we're basically just saying to the opposition, good luck, try and break us down. And I think that's just a really good thing that Ravel and the rest of the coaching team have built this season. As for Bradford, they have a real chip on their shoulder about us after the game, didn't they?
Yep. As many of these teams do when we beat them 1-0 and make them look inept up front. It's amazing the amount of games like this that we win. It's an ugly game. We've won it by a goal to 0, and then the other team, who are clearly Barcelona, the League One version of liquid football, but for some reason when they play us, it's the ref, it's our dirty players, it's long ball football that they couldn't watch. It just, all the excuses are so tiring. We just shut up shop and close the game out. Like you say, it was a typical Boro 1-0.
Yeah, the funny thing is
about the club to do away from home to you when you're in the top like 4 or 5, whatever.
The funny thing is about the long balls is that more often than not, it's the opposition that have played more long balls than 100%. We have at the end of the game. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
95 for them, 86 for us. This, and that's from 185 versus 184 forwards passes, so a higher number and a higher percentage. That's partly down to them having like nearly 60% possession, but you're away from home against a side higher than you in the league. That's what's going to happen. And they had 5 shots on target for the whole game, so we didn't shithouse them that much, although we only had 3 shots on target. That was the goal.
When we took the lead, it was 1 shot each on target at that point. The shots they had after that, obviously they're all banging on about the game that Marshall had, but that's because we had scored and we just stopped attacking. That's what we do. Right, come at us.
Yeah, and you're bound to throw the kitchen sink at a team if you're 1-0 down at home in a playoff promotion deciding contest, or pretty big contribution to that. So
I think they're still pretty peeved that Andy Cook was still scoring in a in a shirt that's not theirs as well.
Oh, it's tough tough times for them.
Yeah,
Lots of-
he got 2 for Grimsby at the weekend, didn't
He
he?
did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, they'll have to have some solace in their nearly 20,000 attendance in League One. That's decent. They can go full attendance police on us when we get further than they do in the playoffs. Any other thoughts on this one?
Just a special shout out to Marshall for the 2 saves he made at the end. The second one especially is an unbelievable save.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's nice to balance that out with the flack he got from spilling the one that got tapped in towards the end of the Bolton game, because it looked like that took a deflection and when he had to change direction and get back to it late. So it's not as bad as it looks if you just watch it bounce off and then drop to the feet of the striker. And he's earned an odd mistake, and if you're going to make a mistake, you may as well make it when the team's already 4-1 down and dead and buried. Like, get them out of the way. That was the best thing about last night, was just thinking, like, they make more mistakes in this one game than they do in the average month. So let's hope we've just got the rest of the mistakes of the season out.
I like the commentary on yesterday's game, because the commentator was right there. That defeat, as damaging as it could be, won't be. We'll regroup. We'll know what they'll be like on Saturday. Back to being resilient. No, this won't impact us at all. He says
Neil did a
constantly.
good job last night.
I think that's another thing that Ravel's done really well, along with the coaching team as well, is just instilling that mentality into the players. I look at the squad, and there are so many of those players that just have that right mentality in terms of bouncing back. I'm fairly confident that we'll bounce back the right way on Saturday. Maybe not winning the game, but certainly putting a better performance than what we did on Tuesday.
Absolutely. And we were kind of looking at it last week, talking about like points for different games, and the 3 points from Bradford gets us as many points as we expected to get from Bradford, Lincoln, and who's the other one? Bolton. So you're kind of already ahead of par, even though you lost the second one. Still 3 points, 2 games, and that's probably enough. I'm kind of segueing us into the table, so let's take a look at that and talk at the same time. So Lincoln miles ahead on top with 93, already for the title against us probably this weekend. Cardiff, 82 points, 11 points back, but 4 games to go, so they could just about overhaul them, but it's not mathematically likely. Bolton, third on 73. Bradford on 71, but with a game in hand over Bolton, so they could jump back past them. Stockport on 67, with 2 games in hand on Bradford and 3 games in hand on Bolton, so they could jump past both. Then we're 6th, also on 67, but 2 games more played than Stockport. That was a really clumsy way of saying that. Huddersfield are 7th on 63 from 43 games, so 4 points back and played a game more. Plymouth, same points, same number of games, so they could come past Huddersfield. Reading on 62 points from 43 games. So Luton in 10th, although they look a bit adrift, 61 points, 41 games. They could be the biggest threat for that 6th place spot, because they could jump all the way past most of the rest of that lot. And then Wickham in 11th, 60 points, 43 games. That's probably where the cut-off lies. And if not there, then definitely down to Barnsley, who are on 55 from 41 in 12th. So win over Bradford was great. The loss against Bolton was painful, but it still leaves us with a little cushion and with everything in our own hands. If you can right the ship from that rocky period, and you've even got enough of a gap for one more loss, which with the fixtures we've got coming up, it's unlikely to be an undefeated end to the season, I would have thought. So we'll have to see how that goes. Thoughts on the table and the run-in for Boro?
Go on, Aidan.
Oh, okay. You say that about Luton potentially being the ones to overtake us. I'm looking at Plymouth, because I look at their running. They've got, I think they've got Wimbledon at the weekend. Or
they do.
Bradford.
It's Wimbledon away. Yeah.
Wimbledon away.
They are not playing well.
4 losses in a row for Wimbledon.
And then they go to Bradford, which is a very tough game. But then they've got 2 games against Port Vale and Northampton, who will already be relegated by then. So I think out of the teams around us, I would say they've probably got the kindest of the run-ins at the moment. Although after Lincoln, we're playing against 3 teams that will almost certainly have nothing to play for by the time we play them. So, yeah, I think at the moment, as much as some people say that Luton could get back in, I think it's between us and Plymouth for 6th.
Well, at the moment, on the 50-minute mark, Luton are currently dropping points to Northampton. They're 1-1.
Oh, lovely stuff. Go on.
Yeah. And Stockport are 0-0 with Wimbledon as well. So if those both hold out, that's a pretty good night's work for us.
Very nice.
Stockport having to play Kyle Wootton at centre-back, apparently, because of all the injuries they've got in defence. So that's a little quirk.
Brilliant.
Bold. And you'd have absolutely taken at the start of the season, 6 games to go, you're in the final promotion place and your biggest rival is 4 points back from you. Like, yeah, okay.
That's
fine,
the
good.
point with the running, isn't it? It's everything now. I mean, I've been a right moan about the quality of the football that's been served up, how that it's not been the most entertaining season, but I will absolutely zip it now for the last 5 games because that's not what matters. It's the points per game. It's the Excel ball. Like you said a minute ago, Pat, I would have taken 2 points from the last 2 away games and snapped your arm off for it. So to take 3 in the first game, I couldn't care less about Bolton. It is just about the points on the board. So
just a real
get Lincoln out of the way, and then I'd have a reevaluation after we get Saturday out of the way. Yeah,
Lincoln are in horrendously good form. Unless I missed one, their last loss in the league was in November. Ridiculous. They dropped points against Huddersfield on 17th of March, but apart from that, it's just back-to-back wins until a cup loss. That it was in a cup they didn't care about that much, I guess. So tough prospect at the Lamex this Saturday. You'd be happy to get a point out of it probably and move on to your last 3 fixtures. They'll be really itching to prove that the Bolton game was a blip and battle back from that, I think. And it's a shame to lose Phillips for the majority of the run-in, but if we were going to lose a player anywhere, it feels like one of the strongest
CDM's
bits of the squad where you've got Houghton and Louis Thompson waiting in the wings. That's players who are good enough to be starting in this team. So, yeah, I'm not massively worried about it. It's like if you get that compounded with another injury, then you're right down to the bare bones. So, yeah, big stuff at the Lamex this weekend. It's not even the Lamex anymore, is it? Broadhall Way, Stevenage SC Stadium, whatever we're calling it this week. It'll be a fun game. It'll be good to see how Lincoln have amassed 93 points, because that's taken everyone by surprise a little bit, although maybe shouldn't be at this point. Thoughts and expectations for Saturday? Let's start with Aidan.
I'm expecting a really tight game. I look at Lincoln as the one side that can pretty much go toe to toe with us in terms of how direct they are, how good they are from set pieces. They've got really good threats in the midfield with players like Jack Moylan. He's been a real standout for them this season. If you look at their striker options, Rob Street, Freddie Draper, you've got Rico Hackett playing out wide. You know, they can pretty much hit you from all angles with their attack. So if there's ever a game where our defence has got to be on top, it's in this one. Because whilst the quality of Lincoln's chances may not be the highest, they can still create a lot of chances. And when you've got players like Moylan and Draper, then, you know, you've got a real shout if you're a Lincoln fan.
It's probably a game, if Early or Butler are fit to start, to bring them back in and not have your winger/striker trying to fill in as left wing back, because that's a stretch to ask against the side top of the league. What's your thoughts on this weekend, Jim?
I can't agree more. I think it's going to be tight. I think it all comes down to how we start. If we come out the blocks even, a half an inch off of it, we're going to be hit early, I think. So I just want to frustrate them. It's going to be a typical Stevenage home performance, I think. Frustrate them for as long as possible. Take the few chances that we'll create and make the most of them. I'd love to say it could be another 1-0 at home, but at the same time, I think Lincoln are going to really pose us problems. I'd take a draw today.
Look out for that Dan Sweeney toe punt from the Charlie Good long throw to get us a 94th minute winner. We'll take that.
That'll do.
All right, so there's your Saturday previews. Let's have a game. Why not? We're going to play a game of Aidan and James guess the team from a game What Happened Years Ago, because I wanted to cheer us up after thinking that was a tough 5-1 we had to talk through. So let's go to a fun 5-1. Stevenage 5, Sheffield Wednesday 1, September the 13th, 2011. You will get 1 point if you name a player who did not complete a full game but did play. No, let's start that again. You get 1 point for a non-substitute. You will get 2 points for a player who played some of the game. You will get 3 points for a player who played the entire game, and you will get a bonus 2 points if they scored. Let's go. Well, we'll go 3 guesses each and see how the points are stacked up. Aidan, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Craig Reed.
Craig Reed scored. He was substituted. That's a sweet 5 points. James.
I'm going to struggle with the goal scorers on this one. Memory's not like it was. I was there as well.
It's hard to miss them.
Yeah. I'm going to start at the back and say Chris Day.
Chris Day is correct. Gets you a very safe 3, obviously. Not many goals in Chris Day's locker. Back to Aidan.
Let's go with John Messinio.
John Messinio scored the second on 10 minutes. He played 55 minutes and was substituted for Josh Walker. So that's another 5 points for you. 7 points back, James. We're going to need a goal scorer from you.
Yeah. This is already game over. Michael Boswick.
Bozzy scored the third on 17 minutes. He played the full game. Gets you the full... What did I say that was? Man, maths is not my strong point tonight. Scored 6. Lovely. Aidan.
I'll play it safe and go with John Ashton.
John Ashton. That is a solid 3 for you. Full appearance, no goals. 13 points on the board. James needs 4.
Joel Byram.
Joel Byram. Oh, he's not in the 11.
Bugger.
Must have been an injured game. So Aidan takes it 13-9. Your other goal scorers, Laurie Wilson, Darius Charles. Who didn't we mention? Ronnie Henry, Scott Laird, obviously. Roberts, Stacey Long. That completes your starting lineup. And then your bench was Alan Julian, Phil Edwards, Jennison Myrie Williams, Josh Walker, Chris Beardsley. And I think my favourite moment of that game was the look on Clinton Morrison's face as he slouched about on the East Terrace side. And he went from looking like a cocky sod to looking like, what the hell am I watching here? It was a special day for him. Wonderful.
Was that a special day for you though, Pat? I mean, conflict
mixed
there.
emotions, I would have said. I went into that game hoping for a 0-0 and didn't quite get it.
No.
I know, like, numerically, that's not the best thing to want. You should want, like, 2 1-0 wins so both sides get 3 points in the league. But I wanted 2 0-0s, 2 points, no heart attacks. And ended up with a 5-1 and a 1-0. And next season might be even more carnage looking at how Wednesday season gone, but we'll gloss over that. That's even worse than losing to Bolton 5-1.
It's new
Let's talk
FL
on
record,
something,
isn't it?
horrendous. We got to -4 points this weekend. It's very exciting. Very
Wow.
exciting times down at Hillsborough.
Nosebleed territory.
Yeah, they've still got a sniff of positive points this season if they can get their second win. Oh god, that's depressing. Let's move on to something not depressing. Stevenage 3, Harpenden 2, cup final. Very exciting.
Very good.
Don't know whether you saw any of this one, Aidan, but I know me and James were there. It was a game on a fairly sticky, dry-looking Astro pitch, which made it difficult for both sides. It was kind of pretty strong wind as well. So at times it was challenging conditions, and Harpenden played really hard-working football. They forced Stevenage to give the ball away in their own half. A lot of Stevenage tried to play out from the back. They also didn't let Stevenage win that much when they went long as well. So it was a game where I felt like Stevenage relied on having a back four of better athletes and a couple of faster strikers to try and play in. And they got 1-0 up, and then we're just like, well, this is going to happen now. We haven't been beaten all season. We'll be fine. And Harpenden kept hitting them back, and they'd raise the game enough to score again and take the lead again, and then just go, well, that's that done now. Oh no, they've scored again and equalised. It was a fun day out, but I've seen that Stevenage side play better this year.
Yeah, they have. I think there was a few injuries in that first half as well, a couple of prolonged ones for Harpenden. I think the game really struggled to get going.
That's true. Yeah.
But it was good to see. I was going to say it's good to see them challenged. It sounds really patronising, but that Stevenage side have been blowing everyone away. So to get an actual cup final out of it was good. And I know a couple of the Harpenden players, so it was nice to see that they were, if this was another one that had been 4-0 or something like that, it wouldn't have been fair on them. They were really hard graft inside, and probably deserving of penalties in the end. But yeah, we nicked it in injury time again, didn't we?
Yeah, but both their goals are really nice. They placed one into the top corner from like the edge of the box, a little loopy shot, and then the second one was struck like at waist height, slashed kind of straight across the keeper into the far side. And you don't want to let someone have a free shot there. It needs to be closed down more quickly, but the strike itself was clean and whistled in. And you're right, that could have taken it. That was like 92 minutes or something, but we had 7 minutes of injury time in both halves. So yeah, it was a fun game, and they've got another cup final against them coming up in a couple of weeks, I think. So,
League Cup in a couple of weeks, yeah.
So County Cup's in the bag, still to come. They're still fighting for the completely undefeated Invincibles type season, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in that back line now, because they lost Edge to an ankle injury in the second half and shuffled the right back into centre back and brought Telford on at right back, who I've seen playing as a pacey forwards before now. So obviously a versatile player and a pace is useful down that right hand side. But it'll be interesting to see how much that hinders the Invincible season, because Edge's like strength in the air and just to mop things up back there has been really important for them in the games I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely people get down there for that final as well. It's so good to watch a Boro side, cleaning everything up. It really is a good day out at Letchworth.
Yeah, it's a good friendly atmosphere to watch football in. It costs like £7, which is pretty cheap. So yeah, fun day out, well recommended. We'll publicise the final dates and stuff when we get them. Any thoughts on the women's side this season?
Sorry,
a bit robotic there again, Pat.
I didn't quite hear that.
Was that my end? Sorry. I just said, any thoughts on the women's side this season, Aidan? Because I shut you out of that conversation a little bit.
I think like I said about Ravel instilling that into the men's team, I think the mentality of this women's team this season has been magnificent. You know, to just constantly keep going and blow teams away in the way they have. So, real credit to how it's been set up there. Earning promotion, winning the title by walking our way to the league. Really, it's just really good to see. I was actually at the FA Cup game against Norwich. This is a few months ago.
Yeah, that was good as well.
Yeah, the fact we took a side a league above us all the way to added time was. Yeah, it was really, real credit to the players for that.
Not just the league above; they've just been promoted too. So they were that quality. Yeah, so they've gone up a division as well with Fulham. So they're decent outfit. And we took them right to the end of that game.
Yeah, I think they scored with like the last kick of the game or something, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tough. All right, so get along and support that as much as you can. Good to see that team really going places. Nate flashes up a later score. Stockport have taken the lead against Wimbledon. Luton still sit at 1-1 with Northampton, which, adds credence to the Plymouth as the biggest challenges narrative. So, Aidan, we're pleased about that. Any final Boro thoughts before we close it up?
I just think whatever happens from here in terms of whether we make it into the top 6 or just miss out, I think it's been a real improvement this season. And whatever happens from here, let's just make sure that if they're going to drag us out of the top 6, that they drag us out kicking and screaming.
Well said. Yeah, I'm glad the itchy feet Revel out people didn't get their way in the middle of the season, because we never got lower than 10th, and think where we'd be now if we had made that change. It's tough to see us in a promotion fight having gone through a managerial change in the middle of the season. So I'm glad we stuck with and let him reshape it and get us back in positive form.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's a results business, and they've been getting them. Christ, who wouldn't have taken 6th in the table with 5 games remaining before a ball was kicked? That's got to stop a lot of the whinging. Granted, I'm not expecting any real sort of amazing quality football. We're not going to blow anyone away before the end of the season. But at the same time, to be in that conversation and to have the thought of a stomach churning playoff semi on the horizon, possibly, you don't want to get carried away, but at the same time, it's a great time to support the team.
Yeah, could be the highest ever, joint highest ever league finish, highest ever League One points total. There's a lot to be thankful for when we look back on this season. Certainly could have gone a lot worse, and you don't know how good you've got it until you're down in the doldrums on -4 points after 42 games. All right, let's wrap it up there then. Bring on the Lincoln on Saturday, and until next time, up the Boro.
Should someone else do the